Actually is a little bit later on in the show. And he's here right now.
I think I know, Julie. I think I know. Right? Hey, staining your deck, it's going to keep it looking good as Brandon Lewis right here. It's going to restore its natural oils, protect it from ultraviolet rays and water damage. This morning, how about a few steps to help protect the deck from extreme climates, improve its overall appearance? Brandon Lewis with Painter Ready is here to help us out with that. And Brandon, it's starting to get cooler. I walked out on my deck just the other day for the first time in literally a couple of months because my deck is in the sun for some reason. And looked down and it looks horrible. And there's some quick, easy things that people can do in terms of staining it that you're going to help us out with. I see you brought some demonstrations, so let's get to it.
Absolutely. First thing I want to talk about just briefly are types of stains. As you can see here, we've got 4 boards. The first one here just has a clear sealer on it. The second one has what they call a toner. It's slightly less pigmented. The third one is a semi-transparent. It has more pigment. And the fourth one has the most that you can get, and it's kind of solid. It almost looks like paint. And moving across, you can see more wood grain from here, less this way, and then moving backwards, these are more durable all the way to less durable.
Now, when you talk about durable, I'm looking for, I want the deck to look good, but at the same time, I want ultra protection. I do not want anything to penetrate through that through that stain and get to the wood. So which one is the best for that? Is that going to be the most durable? Or
your solid stain is the one that's going to last the longest and be the most durable, but you sacrifice seeing the wood grain. And so much about decks is aesthetics, and so you're going to either sacrifice durability or aesthetics as you move. It's kind of like you can't have your deck and eat it too. I made up that saying.
Did you really?
Just then.
Yeah. It's just between us. We don't have to share it with anybody else. Well, what do most people get? I mean, what's the best thing to do?
Folks like me that are more dollar conscious than aesthetics tend to go with this. I would say semi-transparents are probably our most popular because it splits the difference a little bit in between your toners and your solids.
And to be honest, I think that darker looks better than the lighter anyway, just from my personal taste. Well, another important thing is we need to know how to apply the stain.
Exactly.
And that's key. Now, this is not typical deck making material.
No.
I think it's like $3 plyboard.
Correct.
But a lot of people try to cut corners, take it easy, and use a roller. Let's show people why maybe that's not a good idea.
And the thing that we're going to talk about is you need a few tools to do deck staining. First, get some paper and some plastic and some tape together. Lots of times you'll go to homeowners' houses where they have sprayed it on with a garden sprayer and it's all over the siding, and then they call us and then they have to paint it and then fix it. So it's easier just to cover everything up if you're going to do that. One of the reasons that you want to use a brush versus a roller, and we'll go ahead and put some of this on here as a little example. Hope this doesn't get all over you, David.
Oh, that's all right. Could use some stain.
As you can see here, as we're putting this on, you get one kind of continuous, consistent stripe. The thing about semi-transparent is the name denotes it is, you can see partially through it. Now, when you take a roller on here, and this may be a little bit messy, and come over, what happens is people will roll this stuff on, and they'll get it on to a certain point, and then they'll come back, and they'll pick up where they left off.
Yeah.
And roll, and what you see here, and it's right here is this little band right in the middle where it's darker, and so their entire deck ends up looking like a bar graph.
And that's weird how that doesn't happen when you do like a wall, I guess different material
It's
or what have you.
opaque. Just like if you use this solid stain here, you could use a roller because it's completely opaque. If you overlap, you'll never see it. But if you use this or this, because it's semi-transparent and this is even more transparent, you're going to have these little lines where you have doubled up, just like this one here, and your whole deck will look like a Verizon bar graph. And people are like, what's gone wrong? And it's just the application, not necessarily the product.
Got it, got it. Well, when is it too late to do it? When is it just time to get a new deck? And I mean, again, mine is 20 years old, and it's probably not going to do any good. I just need to redo mine. Is there a point where people just need to stop staining it, and it's not really going to do any good at all?
If you're having to replace tons of boards and they're buckling and dry rotted, and typically that's because of neglect, then there'll be a point where replacing your deck entirely will be more cost effective than, like you said, removing all the deck boards, removing all the spindles. Your framing, by the time you get that close, it's almost worth doing that. But we have tons of customers who have 30 and 40 and 50-year-old decks that they have lovingly preserved year after year, and they've almost kind of like pickled or embalmed them with oils, so to speak, for a very grotesque analogy for a deck. But if you keep them coated and covered, then the only thing that the elements ever encounters really is the top coating. And as long as you continually replace that, the wood should be in good shape.
And a lot of people think painting is the same thing as staining.
It is not.
The opaque stain that you have, is that
Yes.
what you need to do? If you want
Yes.
to paint it, have a different color, that's what you go with?
If you put paint on your deck, you'll regret it because one, paints usually aren't used on horizontal surfaces that you walk on. The second thing is stains wear off, and eventually when paints get to the end of their life, they fail and come off. And so what you have are all these kind of alligator-looking splotchy places. You go to a lot of old, before they had really good stains, like in St. Elmo and places where the houses are older, and you've got this kind of, you never quite get it back like it is supposed to look. So if you're going to be doing something with the deck, always make sure to use a stain and never a paint.
And so when I painted my front porch, that was a bad idea.
If it's been painted before, you really don't have any options.
Okay, it had been painted before, so it wasn't my fault.
That's it. And if it had been stained and then you painted it, it was your fault, but otherwise, it's somebody else.
Brandon Lewis, Painter Ready, and you guys, of course, will come out and help folks out with that as well. Tell people how they can get in touch with you and the folks at Painter Ready.
You can call us at 648-4408 or visit us online at painterreadychat.com. If you check out the Painter Ready blog, there's a couple of articles there about deck staining if you'd like to educate yourself further.
I love it. Brandon, thank you. Always a pleasure, always informational. Brandon Lewis, Painter Ready.
Thank you.
And you know what? We're going to take a quick break. Let this dry. We'll be back more 3 Plus U right after this.